Picture this. You're sitting at your desk, you're staring at your screen, and that little tiny voice creeps in. Who the heck do you think you are? What? You think you're good enough? Does that sound familiar? Maybe you just started a new job and you feel like you have no idea what you're doing. Or maybe you're a parent and you really have no idea what you're doing and you feel like you're not even cut out for this. Perhaps you're launching a business and you're asking yourself, who them am I to be doing this? We've all been there. We've all been there, right? Whether it's starting something new or putting yourself out there, that nagging feeling that you're not as competent as others think you are, or even when there's evidence proving otherwise. That's imposter syndrome. It loves to creep in just when you're about to take a huge step or try something new and big, making you question whether you really belong. And today we're going to look at something that I know many of us have struggled with: imposter syndrome. Hello, and welcome back to Random Candace Thoughts. I'm Candace, your favorite Florida mom and entrepreneur, here to share the highs, lows, and all the messy bits in between. Today we're tackling imposter syndrome, that little voice in your head that whispers, you're not good enough. Spoiler, it's lying to you. But let's talk about how to shut it down and show up confidently in business and in your life. This was fresh on my mind recently when the editorial team at Bold Journey reached out to me. Now, Bold Journey is a platform that shines light on real people and their stories, whether it's bouncing back after a layoff or pushing through personal struggles, or even overcoming imposter syndrome. Their goal is to create a space where we can learn from each other's experiences and find inspiration from the journeys of others. Bold Journey and I believe that living boldly means taking risks of loss, risks of criticism, and even emotional challenges that come with risk. And yet so many of us are conditioned to avoid these risks and to just play it safe. Their platform is all about changing this mindset by sharing inspirational stories that we can all connect with. And they're just everyday people that have navigated through tough times and they just come out stronger on the other end. Isn't that a great story that you want to read about? When they reached out to me to share about my journey, I knew it was a perfect opportunity to reflect and hopefully inspire others. You can check out the full article in the show notes for more insights. Get real. Imposter syndrome does not always hit like a wrecking ball. For me, it crept in slowly, whispering doubts, making me second guess myself at every turn. I remember the first time when I was in the military and I went to speak at a big event. It was scripted, but it was still, all those people are staring at me. What if I mess it up? What if they realize that I don't know what I'm doing and I don't really belong here? I was a young airman, but despite those fears, I pushed through. And it turned out to be an incredible experience that made me just want to do public speaking more and more and get better and better at it, which actually led me to wanting to do a podcast one day. Maybe you felt it too, whether it's starting a new job or stepping into a leadership role or something even as personal as parenting. That's always a hard one. I always feel like an imposter. Not being the PTA mom or the mom that has the fresh baked cookies or brownies, my kids are getting store-bought. When I first launched my business 2 years ago, I purchased a digital marketing education so that I could learn more. I do have a master's degree in administration and a bachelor's degree. So I have had a little bit of these things in the past, right? But I wanted to refresh my education and make sure that I had the most up-to-date information. And I remember my very first coaching session. Really, when you're coaching someone, you only have to know a little bit more than they do to help get them through it, 10% more. But at the time, I didn't know this. And I remember spending hours over preparing, reviewing every possible scenario. And I still felt this overwhelming fear that my client would see right through me. I thought, what if they realize that I'm just figuring this out as I go? But I was really surprised because the session went smoothly and they gave me positive feedback and I helped them and they helped me because it helped me realize I was more capable than I gave myself credit for. Like, what if they find out I don't really know what I'm doing? Like, what if I do actually really know what I'm doing? And even successful people struggle with those same feelings. I know. Mel Robbins has talked about imposter syndrome. I know the great Bunny XO has talked about imposter syndrome. Everybody successful struggles with it at one point or another. It's how you get over it. It's how you get through it. What does imposter syndrome look like? Maybe you don't know. It's when you're second guessing yourself over every single thing. Got a post? You second guess it. Maybe you delete it or you re-record it 15 times. Maybe it's a punishment with your kids and you're second guessing if it was too harsh or not harsh enough. Maybe you're over preparing, right? Does anybody else save a bunch of things to their phone or their computer to come back to later? And maybe they don't, maybe they do, but they got a crap ton of research done in the meantime. Also, downplaying your achievements. That's also what imposter syndrome can look like. Kind of like I talked about earlier with my first coaching client and how I felt like an imposter. Imposter syndrome is not a reflection of your actual abilities, but it's your perception of those abilities. For example, I used to assume that everybody had more experience and knowledge than me, even when they didn't. I'd find myself hesitating to speak up, thinking I didn't belong in the same room as other people. And this started very young in my military career. And over time, I just realized that we're all just trying to figure it out as we go. There may be people that know more about some things than I do, but I definitely know some other things that other people don't. And really just honing in on that and understanding that it's not your abilities, it's your perception of those abilities. Here's another example. When I first started creating content, I constantly compared myself to others. This is really when I noticed that imposter syndrome was a thing. I know I had it when I was younger, especially when I was in the military. I just never had a name for it. But I would always compare myself to others, bigger audiences, nicer videos, better copy. I think, why the heck would anybody listen to me? But over time, I noticed that my authenticity and my unique perspective resonated with people in ways that I didn't expect. And that's when I realized the power of owning my journey and really being authentic and true to who I was and not trying to be like anybody else. Random life lesson segment. In today's random life lesson segment, comparison is the thief of joy, but it's also the fuel for imposter syndrome. Stay in your lane and celebrate your unique journey because that is what matters. It is your path that matters. Your path is not the same as everybody's path. Think about it this way. We may all be trying to get to the finish line, but we're all going to get there in the same amount of time, taking a different path. Maybe along the way, we can help each other. Let's talk about how to overcome imposter syndrome. You have to reframe your thoughts. Remind yourself that you do know what you're talking about. Remind yourself that you worked hard to get where you are. Track your wins. Track your wins. Like I said, keep a brag book of your achievements. Grab a calendar like me. Write down a couple of things every day. The calendar just makes it one less thing I got to worry about. I don't have to write a date. Use a notebook. Put it in your calendar on your phone. But find a way to brag about yourself with your small wins. And then you'll be able to look back on those and really see the good that you did, even when you don't feel like you have done anything at all. Next, get comfortable being uncomfortable. You do not grow inside your comfort zone. There's no room. There's no room for you to grow. So you have to step outside of your comfort zone and be comfortable with that discomfort to grow. Lastly, talk about it. Talk about it. Find someone. Share your feelings with somebody that you trust. Find a community. I promise you, you're not alone. There are people that are feeling the exact same way right now. And if they aren't right now, they have in the past or they will in the future. Take that first step. Even if it's messy, even if you don't feel like you're ready, take the first step. Launching a business, creating content, stepping into a new role in your job, being a parent. Remember that progress and growing and learning beats perfection every single time. And when imposter syndrome sneaks in, just remind yourself, I am capable. I deserve to be here. And say it out loud if you have to. Who cares? Maybe people will say it with you. That is a wrap on this episode of Random Candace Thoughts. Got a random thought of your own? Share it with me on social media. Just a Florida chick or just a marketing chick? Catch you next week for more unfiltered fun.